All right. Hello, fellow econ educators out there. My name is Chris Cannon, and I'm from the Georgia Council on Economic Education. And I'm going to go through a real quick pedagogy tip here regarding the Georgia Standards of Excellence SSEMI 2, that's Microeconomics 2, A and B. These are the standards and elements that deal with supply versus quantity supplied, law of supply, law of demand, that kind of stuff. And my email is there because I'm going to show you two documents in just a moment that you may want access to later on. You can just email me and I will send those to you. Or if this is the kind of thing where you can download a file, I will post them with this video. All right, so when you're ready to begin teaching your supply and demand unit, an absolute must is to do a simulation. A lot of teachers will wait and do the simulation after they've introduced the concepts of supply and demand, but I think it's a lot more powerful if you do the simulation first and then the students are behaving kind of naturally and the concepts, the law of supply, law of demand, will kind of just happen kind of beautifully and magically rather than the students trying to act like what you've already taught them. So if you've never done a simulation like this, I would go to Econ EdLink. You might have to register, but the site itself is at no charge. And you want to Google something like, or not Google, I'm sorry, but once you're in Econ EdLink, you may need to Google that. But once you're there, search for something like the market in wheat. They also have the market in oil, the market in cocoa, whatever. They all work the same way, where you have some students as buyers, some as sellers, and they work together to create a market and eventually create an equilibrium price. Now, to get to the heart of the standard, once you get some data from your simulation, the simulation is going to have you create a document like this. Now, this is one I made for me in my classroom, but all of the simulations have something like this. So the students are going to end up listing a bunch of prices down through here that they agree to buy or sell the wheat or the oil or whatever it is they're buying or selling. And so you're writing the prices down here. And once you get the prices, then you will need to look at how many were sold at each of those possible prices. Well, that's going to give you a quantity supplied column, which is where you go down to the bottom of the sheet and you'll actually define quantity supplied, the amount of a good or service sellers are willing to sell at a single price, blah, 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 blah. And the beauty of this kind of sheet here, and you'll do the same thing for quantity demanded after you do that, is you've now created a data set that the students are responsible for rather than just some random thing out of the book. And then you'll go down here and you can do all your definitions. So they have this all written in front of them. And then just incidentally on the other side is where you'll actually graph the graph. And in here you can write in the law of supply, law of demand. So in terms of having a written version of the laws and the rules and everything, they'll have that all on this sheet. However, you know as well as I do, they're not likely to understand that necessarily just from this one piece of paper. And some years ago, I created another document, which I'm happy to send you, where you can download, which is this sheet here called Differences in Demand and Quantity Demanded. The students get a blank version, and it's supplied as on the same page. Then through notes or however you want to do it, or you may just want to copy this and hand it out, the students get this kind of little study tool here. So there's a description of the difference between demand and quantity demanded, what it is that actually changes those two things, and then kind of what it looks like graphically. But here's what I really want to get to in this video, and that is, well, is there another way to explain it to the students other than just having them write it out? And the answer is yes. To do this little part that I'm about to do here, you only need a white erase board or something magnetic is preferable, but you don't have to do it with something magnetic. And go to the dollar store or Walmart or wherever, Target, whatever, and you need something with magnets on it. So these came from a dollar store, just a little set of refrigerator magnets. Different colors are helpful, but not absolutely necessary. And here's the tip. You take a product that students are familiar with. In this case, I've chosen cupcakes, for example. And what I want to do is show the students both the difference between demand and quantity demanded, and I'm also going to get them set up for when they start shifting these lines to the left and to the right. So we start off like this. The market for cupcakes has all kinds of cupcakes in it. So you ask the students, do all cupcakes cost the same amount? And of course the answer is no. Cupcakes have a whole bunch of different prices. So there are some really expensive cupcakes. So there's a place near me that sells cupcakes for $6 a piece. $6 for one cupcake. And while that might not sound bad, imagine taking your children in there, or your family, and you will get 2 or 3 of these things. It adds up pretty quickly. But despite the fact that these cupcakes cost $6, some people still go in and buy cupcakes at this particular location. So at $6, there is a certain number or quantity of cupcakes that are purchased. At $6, there is a quantity that are purchased. At this specific price, there's a quantity that's purchased. At this price, there's a quantity. And I'm doing this over and over again to get the students to link that in their brain. At this price, there's a quantity. Because what does quantity depend on? Price. What does quantity depend on? Price. So when I'm talking about quantity supplied or quantity demanded, I'm talking about at a specific price. But not all cupcakes are $6. There are also places in my neighborhood that sell cupcakes for $3, as I'm sure there are in your neighborhood as well. Well, if the price is lower, would I expect more people to buy cupcakes or less? Well, obviously, I would expect more. And that's exactly what happens. At $3, there's a much higher quantity of people who are willing to buy cupcakes. Now, at this point, the students may suggest that the cupcakes aren't the same, or they're not equivalent, or you can't compare them. That's fine. Doesn't matter. I'm just talking about all cupcakes at this moment, not a particular brand or anything like that. So at $3, a lot more people would buy cupcakes. And then there are the cupcakes that you find at Walmart or Publix or whatever grocery store or whatever, that you might see 5 in a box for $4.99 or something like that. So basically $1 a piece. And a lot of people buy those cupcakes. So at $1, you have a very high quantity. At this price, there's a specific quantity. At this price, there's a specific quantity. And at this price, there's a specific quantity. So quantity is always tied to price. So the quantity demanded in this case is always tied to a specific price. Now, if I connect all of these quantities, then I am demonstrating all of the possible prices that cupcakes can be sold for. Not just one, but all of them. And that is where the concept of demand is born. When you look at all of the prices at the same time, all the possible prices. And this is a good time to go back to the note sheet that the students would have done, and you can kind of reinforce that point up here, that demand is a line, has all of the possible prices, and the quantity demanded is only a single price or a single point. The other great thing about this here is you've got these on a magnet. And this is kind of getting into the next part, but just to make the point, why the magnets are so useful in terms of teaching tips. The magnets can be slid. So when you start talking about things like the determinants that are going to shift supply and demand, you can say, like, let's say there's a major marketing campaign for cupcakes, and all of the world's biggest movie stars and music stars all start really promoting cupcakes, and they get really popular. Well, that's going to make people want to buy those $6 cupcakes. And so at $6, the number of cupcakes that will be purchased are going to increase. But that's also going to happen to the $3 cupcakes, because still not everybody can buy $6 cupcakes. And that's going to even increase the number of people who are buying Walmart cupcakes. Everybody's going to want more cupcakes, whether they're cheap, moderately priced, or expensive. Remember, all of the prices of cupcakes, not the prices, all of the quantities are going to change, not just one, and that's where you get a demand shift in this case. And the other great thing about the magnets is it's very easy then to just kind of switch over and use them for supply, repeat the process. So again, these little cheap magnets, they're like $1. You can do all sorts of things with them when it comes to shifting to the right or to the left, and then make students kind of see those shifts a lot better. And they have something visual to look at. Like you can hold this up and say, this is a quantity demanded. This is the quantity demanded at $1. At $1. Is it a line? No, it's a circle. What's a magnet? But you get the idea. And while nothing's guaranteed and foolproof, I've found over the years that this helped more than anything else to get the students' attention, and they seem to give me feedback that says this works. So if you want any of the documents that I showed earlier, I'll put my email address up here one more time, and I'll happily send those to you. Thanks for watching.